So we're back for lesson 2. That was fast, right? I told you those keywords they're pretty easy to put down. So if you're hung up anywhere on your keywords, don't sweat it. Just don't. You can fill it in when you have to fill it in, all right? So we're going to go through the real basics this lesson, and we're going to kind of add on a little bit, okay? So today I'm using the Under the Roses Lenormand because I think that you'll really enjoy the directness of this deck. So we're going to keep the readings really straightforward, and then we can add on your own flavor later. The cards are really traditionally read analytically, and that sounds like it's no fun, but it is a lot of fun. Because you kind of piece it together like a puzzle or a map that is a grid, and then it's like an adventure. So it's a little bit different way of reading, but it can be fantastic. And if you read tarot and Lenormand together, you're talking wham. It is unreal, the stuff that you'll see in the cards. Okay, so the number one basic is that like tarot, you can pull one card, right? And you can pull one card and see if I have a tarot deck right here. I don't. You can pull one card, yeah I do, and you get a meaning. And here we go. This is the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups, to me, instantly when I think of this card, I think of somebody who's really enjoying themselves. But, you know, he's probably going a little overboard, maybe. You know, I don't know. He's sitting there alone. He's a little heavy, kind of indulgent. Oh, this card isn't looking as good as it first did when I first saw it, right? Anyways, that was a reading. That was a reading. Right there, I read the Nine of Cups. When you pull a Lenormand card and you get the cross, that is not a reading. You don't read them by themselves. They're always in combinations. So you always put two together, okay? Bear, bear, bear minimum. Lenormand talks about stuff a lot. So like actual things that happen. And to me, in tarot, that was missing a little bit. If there's anything lacking in tarot, it's that I could never get like, but what's going on, you know? So, I love reading into the stories, and I love tarot just as much as I love Lenormand. But they have their own wonderfulness. Yes, I just made that up. And set your intention when you're shuffling. That's a really great place to start. Whenever I'm shuffling the cards, I am talking to the cards, and I'm telling them, I'm card 29. If I'm reading for someone else, I say, they are card 29, or they are card 28. And I'm telling it that I'm going to do a certain layout. I'm telling it that certain cards mean certain things. It knows, okay? So if your intentions are clear, and your positions are clear, and your card meanings are clear, it's going to rock. Let's start with 2 card combinations. First, I'm going to pull a card. I've got the Owls card. In other decks, this could also be known as the Birds. It's card number 12. And my keyword for this card is communication. The kind of communication that's back and forth. So it's not a one-sided message. When I look at the card, I don't go into my tarot mode. I don't go what I see is, and you know, what I feel this could be about. It's nothing about that, because remember I told you we don't read one card, and we don't read Lenormand that way. I look at the card and I go, oh yep, that means communication. And so I know the main meaning now. So my first card is called the main card or the significant card. Now significator in a big spread is either the man or woman card, whoever you're reading for. It's the center card in a spread where there is a center. Or it's a predefined significant situation that you're looking for, and you've already designated it before you've laid out your cards, okay? So that would make a significator card. Anyway, so we're going to call it the main card, but it can also be known as the significator card, and it can be known as the subject card, but we'll get into that in a second. So next I'm going to pull another card. I got the bouquet. So the bouquet is card number 9, and my keyword for this card is gift or abundance. But we're going to say that it's gift because that's the main word I use for it. So now the card number 2 is not the main subject of this reading. Card number 1 is. Card number 2 describes card number 1. And so it's called an influencing card. So this is going to describe this. So this is communication that's likely about a gift. Okay? But it's not a gift. That's not the subject. That's the description. This is communication about a gift. Okay? Let's try one more. Got the cross. So card 36 is the cross. When I see this card, I know that my keyword for this card is burden. Now, because of my experience with the cards, I know this is a situation that requires faith. It is a tough situation. There's good and bad to it, but you're just in the situation. So, anyways, let me move on. So this is our main subject. There's a burden. And I'm going to pull another card. The house. So, this burden is influenced by the house. It's not, the house is not the subject. The burden is influenced by the house. Okay? This is not a house that's influenced by burden. Okay? So, a lot can be gained from this understanding. We know that the burden is related to the house somehow, or the house is playing into the burden that they're experiencing. So, the house to me can literally be real estate or home, or it can be family. So this burden is likely about family or has a lot to do with family. Okay? So, now you know how to add 2 cards together to start your readings. And that, I really can't emphasize enough how much you need to learn that, because that is going to play into all the other readings that you do. Let's do one more 2-card combination before we move on and do 3-card combination. So I've selected the lilies, and I intentionally picked this card because it's perceived by different readers different ways. Now, a lot of people read this card as this would be the sex card for a lot of people, and I can totally see why they would select that. And in some of the traditions, if you're looking for things about sex, this is where you'd find it. So, experience is my keyword for this card. And if I put another card with it, I get the sun. So the sun, to me, the keyword for the sun is success. So this is experience that is influenced by success. This is not success that's influenced by experience. Now, I think you can tell those are way 2 different things, right? Because in one thing we're talking about somebody's success, and in one thing we're talking about and the other thing we're talking about someone's experience. And that's what we're talking about in this reading, if we use my keywords. Experience, success. So we're going to move on to 3-card readings, and I'm going to take that one more step, okay? Pull some cards here. Tower. So in this deck, it's the Clock Tower. It's card number 19. This card can be a structure, like not a home, but a structure, a business. I've read it as a prison several times. But my main keyword for this card is perspective, because you're looking up at the tower or you're looking down from the tower, and you get a new perspective on one end or the other, right? So that's how I came to the conclusion that this keyword was perspective. So, influenced by a gentleman. Now, In this case, I would make a conclusion. I personally would conclude that this is not the significator card because it's not here. Okay? I'm going to say this is a perspective that a gentleman helped the querent get to. Okay? And that would be my 2-card reading. So let's add one more card and then we're going to talk about it, alright? The child card. So, there's a couple of ways to read the 3 cards in a line. First, you can simply go 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, right? You can use the technique I just taught you for 2 cards. This card is influenced by this card. This card is influenced by this card, right? But as you can see, if this is not the significator, the gentleman that's giving the querent this new perspective is being influenced by the child. So I don't really recommend that for the 3-card reading. However, when you get into really big readings, you're going to go, this one's influenced by this one's influenced by that one's influenced by this one's influenced by that one. You get the idea? So you can have like 10 cards right here, but each one is going to be influenced by the next. Okay? But the way that we read 3 cards is really cool, and we can use 3 cards in a lot of really neat ways. I will show you later, but you can use 3 cards in any tarot spread, not as tarot cards, as Lenormand cards, but you can use the placement of spreads you already have, as long as there aren't more than 12 placements. And by using 3 cards, you use the entire Lenormand deck in a 12-card spread that's for tarot, okay? But let's get our understanding of this. So, we're still going to say that this is the main subject, and this is the main influence or description, and this we're going to call an action card. Now, a lot of people look like this is a sentence and this is the period, okay? And some people say this is kind of like the object of it, but we're going to call it an action card. So we've got a subject and a description and an action, okay? So what do you think the action would be if this is a perspective from this gentleman and the action is about a child, right? I mean, the action is the child, or they're talking about a child, or they're considering how to handle a child, or how to take action on this child, or see what I'm saying? So it's a different way of looking at it. And it makes it like a more complete view. And that's why I really always like to read with 3 when I can. I love using them in 3 parts because I often use 3 in my tarot spreads. I use 3 when I do element spread. I'll share that with you later too. Okay? But anyway, let's do another one. Let's do a positive one. So we've got the clover. And luck and opportunities are my main 2 keywords for this card. It's the main subject. I'm going to say it's opportunities. And we're going to pick an influencing card. Okay? Now, you've got card number 22, the crossroads, also known as the path in some decks. And now you got to, for me, this card is about decisions. But you got to remember that this is not the main subject. This is the main subject. And so this card influences it. And so that's a kind of an interesting combination. What do you think you could derive from opportunities that are directly influenced by decisions? So decisions is kind of an open thing, but I think you could come up with some really neat conclusions. I'd love to hear about it if you want to write it on the thread. Okay. So then, let's add something crazy into the mix. Ooh, let's add the snake as the action card. Now, this is really interesting because we have on 2 ends a very positive card and a very negative card. But this is our action card, so it falls within that parameter. This is still the main subject, this is still the main description, and this is still the main action. When I see the snake card, the first thing I think of are lies, okay? And every time I read it, It's usually about a person who lies, or lies that have affected you, or things that aren't quite truthful. You know what I mean? So now what's really cool about this 3-card spread is that this crossroads is in the middle. And when I go through my tidbits, if you remember this spread, come back to it, or just remember that the clover and the snake were with it, because you'll get something out of this reading more than what you're going to get right here when we're just covering the 3-card line. So I'm not going to tell you what I think this means, but I'd love to hear what you think this means. Let's try one more. I know I always say that, right? Why do I say one more? And I really mean 2 or 3. I really do. Okay. The whip. The whip is perceived in different traditions as different things. It's also known as the broom on one of our decks. It's also known as the rod. I'm missing one. Anyway, so in our card, it's the whip. So this is a repetitive action, something that's done over and over and over. So when my first keyword for this is like repeat action, you know, a couple keywords, I can't just use one word. But this is the card that I use for sex. It's usually about arguments though, unless I'm looking for sex, because it's something that you do over and over and over again that really, like, it's just become natural to do. And unfortunately people do that. Isn't that weird? Anyway, so let's pick another one that I haven't used recently. Now it's influenced by the mountain. So this could be considered a negative card. This is definitely considered a negative card. It is, to me, this is blockages. And this, you know, you look up at a mountain like, how am I going to get over that? I don't have the capability of doing that, but there is another side, you just can't see it, you know? So the whip is influenced by the mountain. So I'm going to say this is arguments, and this is blockages. So if I would read this as 2 cards, I would say there are a lot of arguments taking place because, you know, in direct relation to the fact that you feel like there's this stuff that you can't get past, you know, that's really preventing you from moving forward in life. And so let's add the card. Let's see, it's going to be negative or positive. I'll just use that one. Oops, sorry. Let's use the action as the journal. So in the journal, in this deck, it's card number 26, but in most decks, it's the book. And if it was a book, whether it was opened or closed would be relevant, because a lot of times the keyword for that card is secrets. Now, I also see it as like journaling and even family history sometimes, because you keep a record of it. So there's a difference between the letter and the book. The letter is a piece of paper. It's a written letter. It's a document. This is something that's more extensive if you're looking at it in that light. So it would be a file folder full. But anyways, so we're going to say it's secrets in this particular reading because these are negative. And it's the action card. So these blockages could be as a direct result of somebody telling or keeping secrets. Okay? So there you have a kind of negative reading. I actually like that we can get negative readings out of Lenormand because it's beneficial to get to reality. And life is both negative and positive. And one can't exist without the other. And we wouldn't have any growth without any negativity. So it's actually kind of a good thing. I can't believe I just said that. Anyway, so there you have that one. Should we do one more? Alright, let's do one more. Okay, just really quick. Okay, we've got the grave. Oh, I got another negative one for you. And the ring. I got one upside down. Oh, I can't read that one. Nope. And the bear. Okay. So if you're using your keywords and you have the grave, what is your keywords? My first keyword for the grave is transformation. So for me, this isn't necessarily a negative card. I view this as an ending for sure, but there is a positive, not a positive, but there is a new beginning on the other side of it. Grief is present, obviously, when you're looking at a grave. And on most decks, this card is called the Coffin. So then it is influenced by the Ring, which is card number 25. My main keyword for card number 25 is commitment. So this is transformation, and it's influenced by commitment, okay? Well, I'll let you figure that out. I think it's pretty obvious. Then the action card is the Bear. So the Bear has some mixed meanings for me, and one of my main keywords for the Bear is heavy. And most people don't use that as a keyword for the Bear, but what I mean by heavy is like, you know, but it also can be business, it can be a mother figure. So you decide, what do you think this reading means? And then we'll move on from here. I think that we're going to really enjoy using this method, because you know when to use the action card and when not to. The action card is really only used in 3-card combos. When you start putting cards together, the word influencing, like the word influencing is used more than one way, the word significator is used more than one way when you're viewing Lenormand readings. And so I know it's like we tell you, be clear, be clear, be clear, but then you're like, well, does that mean that or that? But we're going to see if we can get it all sorted out in all these videos, okay? So, anyways, alright. I want to leave you with a positive message. Let's do a 2-card combo. Ha. Very simple. The Lady. Obviously, the significator. It's the first card. Enhancement card, influencing card, description card, success. A successful lady. So what's your homework? Your homework is to start with 2-card combinations. I want you to go down the line and put down like 5 or 6 at a time and say, this card influences this card how? This card influences this card how? If the keywords are this, keep to your keywords. Keep to your keywords. Do not, if you read tarot, do not fall into tarot techniques of I think, I feel, I see. None of that. It's, you know, what's the I think is relevant. But don't get wrapped up in like the story of it. Simply use your keywords. The keywords are vital. I want you to make sure that you have them in place, that you're using them when you make your combinations. So your first combination is like, you know, ooh, the Lady and the House. What could that mean, right? The Bouquet and the Letter. What could that mean? Okay, so I want you to do that. Then I want you to move into 3-card combinations, and this is exactly what I want you to do with it. I want you to go through the entire 36-card deck 3 at a time. I want you to shuffle it up and go 3-3-3, 3-3-3, 3-3-3, and every time that you put 3 down, you're going to make an interpretation. So I have a stack of cards, and I go 1, 2, 3. I figure them out, right? You've got the House, the Tree, and the Lady. And that's my first 3-card combo. Then, right on top of those, I go 3 more cards. 1, 2, 3. The Child, the Key, and the Lilies. What does that mean in the method that she just showed me? Okay? So I want you to do it again. 1, 2, 3. So you get the idea. I want you to go through the entire deck, making a 3-card line to see how you can read the cards just using your keywords and the information that you have. If you want to use intuition, which I don't discourage, by the way. I know a lot of Lenormand readers don't use it, but I don't discourage using intuition. However, you put that on top. It's not used first. It's after you've made your clear, your clear understanding. It kind of reminds me of mathematics. A plus B equals C, right? A, B, and C equal what? Like 1, 2, 3. So we could get really complicated with algebra, but I think we're gonna pass. Anyway, you get the idea. I really like looking at it like this because it's going to pay off in the end. Now, right now it seems really simple, but when the spreads get huge, you're going to have a blast with this. Trust me, okay? See you soon. Bye.